Okay, let's talk about how I price the home and why I price it a certain way and what goes into it. So, the first thing that we look into is what the market activity is saying. We have to follow similar guidelines to an appraiser, and they use very, very strict guidelines on what the market activity has been doing, and that will determine the home value of what you could sell it for. And this is very important for us to get as close to the number that an appraiser might say, because if you have a buyer that is getting a loan, they're only going to be able to get a loan for the amount that the appraiser says the home is worth. So if we shoot for the stars and we overshot the price that we put on the home, and that's going to affect our buyer's ability to actually be able to purchase the home, we might be sitting on our hands for a little bit waiting for just an all cash offer, because we know that the home is over an appraisal value, and you either want to be right at the appraisal value or you want to be under it. So we want to make sure that we're not putting ourselves at risk for going under contract and then that contract falling through because the appraisal came in low. Appraisals also don't happen very quickly. Once you go under contract, they can happen either halfway through the contract period of the due diligence, or they can happen when we get close to our closing date. And that's super dangerous, not only for us, but for the history of the listing, because if that contract were to fall through because we came in over appraisal, because we were listed over the appraisal value, then everybody's going to be able to see that we were under contract. That fell through. Now we're back on the market. So everybody's going to ask, well, why did your house come off the market and then go back on the market? And we have to disclose that the appraisal did not come in as needed, so the buyer was not able to finance it. We don't have to disclose how much the appraisal came in for and what the difference was, but we do have to be semi-transparent on what happened during that process of going under contract and then going back on the market. So the way we do that is we look at the last 180 days of the sales that are similar to your home. Because your home is a rental, and because it's going to be a certain location and a certain square footage and a certain age, those are all the things that we will base it off of to start with. And then there's other criteria that falls into that, like does it need upgrading, or what are the repairs needed, and just different factors that can either increase the value or decrease the value. But the most important thing is, what is the market saying that buyers are purchasing homes similar to yours for in the last 180 days. If we overshoot it, we're less likely to get activity and to get showings and to get offers. If we are right there with the level market of the other ones that are in our competition, then we'll most likely get the showings and the offers. If we go a little bit below what the market is saying the house is should be listed for, then that's when we'll get the most buyer attraction, because we want to not be the most expensive deal out there. And we don't want to necessarily just be riding the coast of the rest of the competition, unless your house has something super special about it and super unique that makes it stand out. We want to be the best deal with those competition. We want to be the best deal amongst the competition. Now, does that mean we sell your home short and price it super low? No. But does that mean that we are very strategic in how we place it on the market and where it's going to fall as far as price range? Absolutely. And the market changes all the time. So even if right now we list it and we go just a little bit below what the rest of the competition is, that will most likely strike multiple offers, meaning we are going to get multiple buyers putting in offers, and that's going to drive the price up. So you're most likely to sell the home for more than you put it on the market for. If you ever go back and look at homes that have previously sold and the list price is, $300,000 and they sold it for $320, and you're like, how did you sell it for more than you listed it for? Well, it's because they were competitive enough to have multiple buyers come their way, and that created a bidding war. So that shot the price up, rather than not being in tune with the competition, and then you just sit and wait for something to come along, and you're basically just begging for an offer to come in at that point because you haven't had any activity. So I would rather us be in competition and have multiple offers come in and drive the price up rather than sitting and then eventually having to drop the price.